With a global changing world, many people have asked me, how can I improve my focus? How can I improve my attention? Here, we're going to cover how you can improve your focus and attention. What is concentration in the first place? Concentration is the action or power of focusing of one's attention or thoughts, interests on one thing. More or less the opportunity cost, which is the second best alternative foregone. Matter of fact, for you to concentrate, there has to be something you're foregoing for another. However, we find that for concentration to take effect, there must be an element of elimination. Without elimination, concentration cannot come into play. Tim Ferriss said, "What you do not do determines what you do." What you do may not be permanent, but it should be at that particular moment or at that particular time you have set forth for it. How you can focus on things that matter and ignore the things that do not matter to you. One, you need to decide. The issue is not focusing, but deciding. Zig Ziglar said, "It's never the lack of time, but the lack of direction." Did you know that your actions are determined by your sense of direction and time at hand? 3 men had traveled over 100 kilometers with no food and with no water. Finally, as they were heading towards their destination, they landed on a very deserted house. This house was occupied by an old lady who came to a rescue. She saw them. They were all pale, all thirsty and hungry. She decided to bring these men 3 glasses of water so they can quench their thirst. She brought these 3 glasses, placed them on the table. Then one of the men decided to take 1 glass. If I may ask you, how many glasses were left on the table? I'm very sure a majority of you are thinking of 2 glasses. Wrong. Why are you wrong? Because one man made a decision. He never took no action. You too has made so many decisions. A decision is one big step in life, but it's not the solution. It's only halfway the battle. The other part is to bring your decision in conformity with your action, and you'll be fruitful. Just like an idea without an action is an illusion. You must base your decision with an action for them to be effective. Let your decisions be made based on your knowledge and values. 2, stop multitasking. You cannot do 2 things at the same time and be effective. Watching television and at the same time sending an email. You cannot drive while talking on phone. This will make you limit your observations on what is going outside your car. I've seen so many people do it, but it is very dangerous. You're forcing your brain to switch tasks. The brain is forced to move backwards and forth, quickly affecting its transition. And yet the brain only transits one job at a time. I want you to take some time off. Look at your ordinary car dashboard. You'll find that the speed gauge of your car is either 180 kilometers, 220 kilometers or 260 kilometers for the sport and speedy cars. Now, imagine you are on a highway and moving at 90 kilometers per hour. Everything outside and around you will be moving in accordance to your speed at which you're driving. That is 90 kilometers per hour, remember? Now, the faster the vehicle is moving, the more information the brain receives, forcing it to eliminate certain peripheral data. What happens? Your vision will be receiving half of the data that is outside of the human brain, because the human brain receives certain amount of information at a certain particular time. Now, add on a situation when you receive a phone call while driving. Simple story. A woman was driving at 40 kilometers, talking on her phone. She ran into a red light, hit 3 cars ahead of her, and also a young boy who was involved in that tragedy lost his life. After the police had investigated, it concluded that the woman hadn't even stepped on the brakes. Can you imagine? The witnesses further found that the woman was not even looking down. Neither was she dialing a number on her phone. Some witnesses are even quoted to have said that she was looking straight in her dash screen, but talking on her phone using headsets. As you seated there, you think, why talking on phone using headsets while driving is safe? You are wrong. You're switching your brain to multitask. It's switching to and fro. That means it is being limited by activities it is doing, causing attentional blindness, caused by a distraction of the brain due to multitasking. And in this incident, multitasking is when you are driving and you're answering a phone call. However much you may be looking through the mirror, your brain does not process all the environmental information about the road and the information to help you drive or to help you monitor, identify effectively all the risks, and anticipate even hazards ahead of you. Research by the American National Safety says that when you answer a phone call while driving, you actually lose 50% of your visual information, which you would freely access if you were freely focused. I'm sure many of these instances have even happened to you during your office hours. Have you ever been talking to somebody and all of a sudden an email buzzes, and when you answer it, coming back, you can't remember where you are. You can't even remember the topic or the conversation at which you're discussing with your friend. Whatever you remember is, hey, tell me, what were we talking about? Or what was it that we were discussing? Why? Because your brain transitioned and switched to another task, which is what? Buzzing of the email, and you went to answer the email and you left your conversation that you're holding with your friend. As you think you're multitasking, remember, you are paying mental price. Each time you interrupt your brain, you transition, you lose 50% of its focus. And therefore, each time you transition or shift from one task to another, it takes 64 seconds for your brain to resume or reboot to the previous task that you had at hand. Therefore, at average, you're losing 1 minute out of every 6 minutes you spend multitasking. Imagine how many minutes you'll be losing in a day and multiply it by 365 days a year. How many are you going to lose? For that matter, therefore, don't even think of multitasking, because out of the 50 people who do multitask, 1% is successful. And I'm sure that 1% is not you. Let's look at some strategies that you can use to focus and increase your attention. Focusing your attention on what really matters. And how do you do this? You have to make a list of all the things you want to do, circle the most important things that you are supposed to be doing, then make a priority of those important things you've circled to be a priority for which you have to start with. Eliminating those that you've not cancelled. Focus on the main activities that you've circled, and later when you're done with them, then you can go back to the ones that you did not cancel. Circle. While circling, you have to keep in mind of the urgent, important things. What's the difference between important and urgent things? According to Dr.RWAKISETA, he said that what is important is seldomly urgent, and what is urgent is seldomly important. Matter of fact, urgent tasks require immediate attention and action. When you look closely on your to-do list, these are the tasks that require now, whereas the important tasks contribute to the long-term mission and values of your goals. If you read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, he developed a decision matrix to help distinguish what is important, not important, and what's urgent and not urgent, categorizing them into 4 matrices. The first matrix entails what is important and urgent. These may include crises, deadlines, and problems that require immediate action, schedules, and immediate maintenance. Quadrant 2 entails important but not urgent, such as relationships, planning, research, and recreation. These all call for future improvements or future time, which may contribute to future happiness or fulfillment or even success. Quadrant 3 entails not important but urgent. These include interruptions, meetings, and activities which require your attention, but brought to your attention by other people, basing on their goals and missions. Actually, these are interruptions from other people. And once you do them, you're helping them fulfill their obligations and priorities. And they will refer to you as a nice guy syndrome. You know, those people at your workplace that are called the nice guys. They are in quadrant 3, doing things that are not important but urgent for other people. Quadrant 4 entails not important, not urgent at all. These are time wasters, pleasant activities, recommended for only resting and after busy days. Actually, you should go to this quadrant after you have exhausted all the 3 quadrants. The Stephen Covey method will help you to narrow down your focus and eliminate distractions from this busy, global, changing world. There are times, remember, when you try hard to increase your attention span, but it keeps on deteriorating no matter how often you try to focus and concentrate. Or how can you increase your concentration and avoid deterioration of your focus? 1, measure your results and progress. Did you know that focus always fades due to lack of feedback? Keep in mind that success is a journey. That's why athletes always use timers during training. They use timers because they want to capture their progress and know how to improve. You cannot know how to improve unless you have recorded how far you've come or how far you've gone. Just like a driver needs a map, you too needs to feedback about yourself, about your activities that you're doing, so that you can be able to track and know where to improve. Therefore, when you know where to improve, that means your focus and attention is going to be at 100. Why? Because our brains have a natural desire to know whether you're progressing or not towards your goals. Keep in mind that the things you measure are the things you will improve. For example, if you measure how many push-ups you did, you become better and stronger. If you track down your reading speed or habit, you start reading more and feel more interested in reading. If you record your values, you boost your integrity. If you want to be a good speaker, you need to listen to your voice oftenly and know where to improve. For you to improve, for you to focus, for you to concentrate, you need to measure, because the tasks you measure are the ones you focus and concentrate on. Do not be afraid of measuring, because you will know your failure or you will know how weak you are. Don't take it as a judgment, but rather as a feedback where you are and getting better at it day and out. Focus on the things that matter, ignore the things that do not. Keep in mind that no matter how many wrong turns you make along the road, progress determines your success. Frank Zappa, he said, without deviations from the norms, progress is not possible. You need to deviate for progress to be valid in your life. Stop comparing yourself with other people that are progressing. You need your own time, travel your own distance, and travel your own tail. Number 2, you need to focus on the process, not the event. The similarity between success and life is that both are journeys, not destinations. You enjoy your happiness along the way. More or less, success is a process, not an event. People say, if I just lose 20 pounds, then I will be in good shape. You're wrong. Eric Thomas, he says, people want to be like lions, but do not want to do what lions do. To be a lion, you need to fall in love with the process. Therefore, you fear the process, but you want the free things put on the table. You want to look at the scenery, but you don't want to do the work to climb up at the mountain, sweat, strive, get thirsty until you get to the mountain peak so that you can see the beautiful scenery. The man at the top of the mountain did not fall there, my friend. He did the work. He went under the process to get where he is. You may ask me, why do I need to focus on the process rather than the event? Let me give you some pointers. 1, it removes all distractions. Because when you start focusing on the event rather than the process, you end up not paying attention to all the distractions and end up deviating from the attention from which your current goal stands. The second, become a master of a thing when you learn the things that make up that thing that you're trying to learn. If you want to build up your body, you have to know the process, you have to know the gym, you have to know the methods, you have to know the exercises you're supposed to do. And once you know that, that means you'll work towards that and you become a master at the end of the day. You even start now enjoying the work. Having your eyes focused at results makes you hate the process, because you focus at the future making, and this makes you unhappy in the present and realize that the skills and process you need are not happening now, but are going to happen then. That means you're becoming bored with the current event or the current process that you're doing, which will not give you the expected results you need. When you focus on the process, you take control of the event or of the process itself. Focus on internal factors rather than external factors, because it's within the inner factors that the rapture occurs and makes you feel complete and fulfilled. It empowers you, it boosts your self-esteem, and in the long run, you succeed and become very satisfied with what you are doing. Process also builds confidence in you, because you know and have downloaded all the things that you need to do in that activity. That means you have authority, you have all the material, and therefore when you're doing that desired task, you do it with a lot of confidence because you know what you're doing, and you'll even start appreciating the results more and work more effortlessly. The third on our basics is move an extra mile. Zig Ziglar once said, there is no traffic jam at the extra mile. Whenever you feel like giving up, always push. Push extra 5 pages, push extra 10 to 20 minutes. Push whenever you feel you're becoming exhausted. Why? Because your brain will become used and accustomed to that stamina of persistency. When something comes in, you're ready to adjust. Those that love basketball, Michael Jordan played extra every game because he was making his brain get used to the extra push. Kobe Bryant is said to exercise every after a game. Why? He pushes his brain an extra mile. Science has further proved that concentration when you're tired is the key for your strength and increases your brain abilities. So whenever you are tired, give it an extra mile, give it an extra push, because that's when you concentrate the more. If you remember the story of Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, the 3 feet from gold story, you find that the initial buyer of the land bought all the equipment and started digging, searching for gold. But all over the way, he got tired of searching because he wasn't finding. So he had to sell off the mining quarry to another buyer who came in and invested in research. When he started digging, after doing the groundwork and study work, he found that gold was just 3 meters away from where the initial buyer had stopped digging. Lesson: winners never quit and quitters never win. Keep on plowing, my friend. Keep on plowing. The fourth is you need to take short breaks at a time when you feel exhausted. Remember, these short breaks should come after you've pushed further, after you've extended extra mile. Include fixing your mind elsewhere. You can walk around, listen to music, do some push-ups, do some exercises. Take 5 to 15 minutes every after an hour. 30 minutes every after 2 to 4 hours. Short breaks will help you to increase your productivity, refresh your mind. Drink water during those short breaks. Water will boost your immune system. Breaks also increase your creativity. As Patrick Lindesay said, all that is important comes in quietness and awaiting. You need to quiet your mind and allow it to rest for it to reboot. Breaks further help you to meditate or to reflect upon your work. As Plato said, you can discover more about a person in an hour of play than a year of conversation. What is very interesting, you may learn how to love the process and stay focused on your goals, but their implementation can be difficult. And how do you do this? 1. Choose and take one priority at a time. Remember, consistency is the mother of mastery. That means you have to do one activity at a time for you to become a master in it. 2, you need to manage your energy, not your time. When tasks need your full attention, schedule it at a later time or at a later moment when you feel your energy is high, especially in the morning hours. Research shows that our energies are at the peak in the morning than in the other times of the day. Socrates said, the secret to change is to focus all your energy, not fighting the odds, but on building the new. Avoid checking your emails in the morning, because they will disrupt you and you'll end up focusing on them throughout the day. Turn off notifications from your computer, from your phone, because they'll keep buzzing, and when they keep buzzing, they take your concentration and your focus. Always work in full screen of your laptop or of your computer, because even the slight movement on your computer will take your attention. Research has shown that our brains are attracted to something moving. You never know what will be moving on your screen. To avoid that, work in full screen so that you can even not access your desktop icons. My call to you is that focus on what you want to become rather than what you intend to be. A story is told of an ancient Indian sage who was teaching students the art of archery. Archery is a game where you learn how to shoot using a bow and arrow at a target. One day, he wanted to test his students of their skills that they had acquired. So he had to line them all. He called them and lined them at once. He put a wooden bird at a target and asked each of them to aim at the bird. The first student came and he was asked to describe what he saw. He said, I see the tree, the branches, the leaves and the sky, the bird and its eyes. The second student was asked the same question. The second student replied, I only see the eyes of the bird. The Indian sage then asked him to release the bow. The arrow went straight and hit the eyes of the bird. What is the moral of this story? It teaches that always remain focused on your goals regardless of the obstacles, and you will succeed. Regardless of the obstacles of the distraction that are in this global changing world. If you keep focused onto your goals, onto your target, my brother, my sister, you're ready to succeed, and your concentration and focus will be superb at 100%.